And you got me that way, and I'm wondering if I came on too strong, walking side by side and backwards.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody.
Hello.
It has been a couple months, I think.
I think maybe a full 2 months.
Grant, why were we gone? I don't understand what you were doing.
Well, I was doing,
You're
yeah.
out of the country.
I
It's
was.
your fault.
That's fair. That's fair. I was in Europe for a little while, and I was in Houston for a little while. I guess that held things back, but I feel like most of it was probably you having a baby.
Oh, yeah, it might be my fault.
So yeah.
Yep.
How's that been?
First baby. It's been good. It's easier than I thought and harder than I thought. Easier. I thought my expectations were I'm not going to sleep ever again.
And is that accurate?
Not accurate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it actually hasn't been that bad. I mean, it is definitely less sleep, but it's not like I'm losing my mind kind of stuff,
All right.
which was what I was preparing for. I was preparing to like go insane, start hallucinating. I was actually kind of pumped about it. I was like, I'd love to have
some of those sleep
because I heard people talk
hallucinations.
about sleep deprivation and like having crazy dreams or even hallucinating, and I was kind of pumped.
I've like kind of always wanted to see what that would be like, but I never had the fortitude to actually last more than like 48 hours.
So there's a little bit of disappointment there, but other than that, it's been really good.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah, it really is. You actually took off work for I took off for a couple weeks, and then I worked part-time for a couple weeks.
Okay.
And now she's a month old now, and I'm working pretty much back to full-time, or at least 30 hours.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's why we were gone, everybody. I know everybody missed us, Grant.
Oh, yeah. I was hearing so much about it online. Like, all these people just wanted us back. So we're back.
We are back. So we didn't really introduce the podcast.
Yeah, why don't you do that? I kind of goofed up last time.
So this podcast, the Blue Collar Business Podcast, our goal, here's kind of my goal with the podcast, is I want people to listen to this who are like blue collar guys who work, I don't know, you're just working for the man, and maybe you're making 20, 25, maybe $30 an hour, and you're listening to us, and I want you to be angry. I want you to be like, how are these fools making more money than me?
Oh, I see. You listen
know
to
what I
us
mean?
like, what, these guys are making good
Yeah.
money? What's going on?
Because I'm throwing numbers around like $50, $60, $100 an hour,
Yeah.
and that should make you mad, and it should motivate you to stop working for the man and work for the man, which is yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Because as we've said many times, if we can do it, then anybody can do it.
Anybody can do
Yeah.
this. I was just listening to another podcast, a dude named Dan Perry. He has like a handyman show
Okay.
that he does. And he was talking about, he's like, if you do something enough, like as a business, if you do it long enough, like most people are going to find success. Like if you just do it and just throw your effort at it and your energy for years and years. And that's kind of how I feel with my business and other businesses. Is like, I think if you it's just raw time and experience in doing it, you're going to be successful in the long run. It might take a while.
Yeah.
And maybe start out as like side hustle for a little bit before you can actually do something full time. But that's kind of the idea, is just if you're motivated, we want to motivate you, and you could just keep working at it, and you'll find success over time.
Yeah. And it'll take some time, but you may not know everything when you start, but you learn things as you go. And like, it's not that hard to just pick up new things over time, and eventually you'll get really good at them.
Yeah, I think I mentioned on the show before that I have expanded by probably like 40% of like the actual stuff that I do. Like before I started working for myself, I didn't really do drywall. Now drywall is like all I do.
Right.
And like I've gotten into some plumbing stuff, like changing out angle valves, changing out toilets. Like I didn't really do a lot of that before I started working for myself. But I had some clients, and I'm like, I haven't done this a lot. Like I try to be transparent with people, and like I haven't done this a lot, but I'll do it. And people let me just kind of try things, and over time I've gotten to be proficient at them. So like you can, even if you don't have all the skills yet, you can develop them the
Yeah,
more you
for
spend
sure.
time doing it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to our first segment of the show. What we've been working on this week, last last couple months. So what have you been doing, Grant?
Yeah, kind of a lot. I actually did another stint in my international business. Or not international. Intranational?
I don't know what. Yeah.
I'm going to call
Intrastate commerce.
it interstate business, yeah.
Yeah.
I went to Houston and did a little bit of work for a week.
That's pretty
It
cool.
was just at my brother's house.
Is this slave labor or did they pay you?
No, they're paying me.
Oh, that's good.
They haven't paid me yet, but
Oh, no.
I sent a Venmo request, and I they're good for it. So
I had a client who sent a Venmo request, and it took like 2 months, but eventually I got paid. So
I'm
you
not
just
too
gotta
worried.
wait.
I'm not too worried about it. You know, it was also fun just to go see them. So
Yeah, what'd you do out
I
there?
didn't do like that much work anyway. So I just did I did some like a shelf like underneath a little cabinet, like a base cabinet. They just wanted a little shelf there.
Cool.
A lot of just small drywall patches, and I bought like 4 different paint matches and just did some
Oh.
touch-up paint like
That's
all
fun.
over the house. Yeah, so that took a little while.
Wait, where did you get the paint? Was it a Home Depot?
Yeah, they had a Home Depot that was really close, so I went there for pretty much
Were the
everything.
matches pretty good?
Yeah, I've had good luck with Home Depot paint matches. It does depend on who you have working in the paint department, but I've
Yeah.
had good luck. I mean, they also use a machine that matches it. If you bring something over there, generally it's worked.
Yeah, originally I didn't trust Home Depot for that stuff. I brought it to like Sherwin-Williams. But I'm like, I'll try get Home Depot, and they do a great job matching paint.
Yeah, I've really never had a problem. I've never had a problem with Home Depot or Lowe's paint matches. I have had a problem with Dunn Edwards. And
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it could have been, I don't know, but I had a major issue with that. I tried like 3 different colors, and they still never got
Oh,
it.
that's
It was really
infuriating.
annoying. I ended up having to just repaint the whole wall.
Yikes.
So I don't go to Dunn Edwards for that
happens.
anymore. But yeah, Home Depot's good for that. So I did that. Built some shelves, like redid a countertop. It was like an old. Have you ever dealt with like the countertops that are built of tile, and they have like a mesh
Oh.
they're like, it's just like plywood covered in like a chicken wire, covered in mortar, covered in tile. It is a nightmare to rip out.
Oh, my gosh. That's so annoying.
I had to take that out, but luckily it was like maybe 5 feet wide, so it wasn't a lot.
Yeah, I haven't
So-
run into that before.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most annoying like demo things you can do. So I did that and replaced it with a butcher block and stained it and put in a new sink. Yeah, so wasn't a ton of work.
What was the hardest thing you did?
well, putting in that butcher block, it was like all inside a little kind of cabinet, or not a cabinet, like a closet kind of, and it was
Okay.
oddly shaped. So I had to do some
Oh.
weird angle cuts. That took a little while to get right. I had to like,
And then it was hard to actually slide it in place.
yeah. Well, I have a way of doing that where if you put in a countertop like that, I cut the drywall out on one side, so I have like a 1/2 inch of extra room.
We got genius.
So you slide it into that hole,
Genius
and then
over
you
here.
slide it back over.
How has no one ever thought of that?
I think I saw it somewhere. I don't think I thought of it, but it
Wow.
works fantastically. Yeah. So it wasn't too big of an issue, but it did take a couple cuts to get the angle perfectly right.
I see.
That was probably the hardest. And I also had to sand the shelving that I put in. I had to like do it inside of that little closet, so I had to shut the door. It was like maybe 4 feet wide, no, maybe 3.
Yeah.
So I had like these doors like right behind me in this tiny enclosed area, and I was sanding. I had to like wrap my face around in like a towel just so I wouldn't choke on the sawdust. It was,
Oh,
and it
gosh.
got so hot in there because like I'm running a tool that gets hot, and it's such a small space.
That's rough.
Yeah, that was really annoying.
I've been in that situation. It's no good.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you can't even see after a while.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
I just
much dust.
I have to leave the room because I can't see anything, and my glasses start fogging up. Yeah, it wasn't very pleasant for a while, but that didn't take too long.
Did you learn anything the past couple months? Any business principles
Oh,
for the audience?
I did some painting,
Oh,
and I think I'm just not gonna use a paint sprayer unless I have to.
I thought you just bought one.
I did
Waste
just
of
buy one.
money.
I did just buy one.
Terrible investment.
That was mostly for because sometimes I paint like wood pieces or whatever like in my garage. I'll set up a little spray booth just out of plastic.
Yeah.
So it works great for that. But
And you don't mind that.
I don't mind that as much because it's a better way to paint than just roll it. I think it looks better. But if I'm gonna paint a room, which I did, it was like carpeted, and I had to like plastic off everything. The prep work is so much.
It's intense.
And then by the time I started painting, it took like a full 4 coats of spraying.
Okay, that's abnormal.
And yeah, I was not expecting that. So just the spraying I probably could have done it faster rolling. And I had to do all that prep as well. So I guess it could have just been this room because it was like a really dark paint.
Yeah.
But it was, I don't think I'm going to like go to a paint sprayer. I think I'd rather just roll it next time.
What's the lesson here?
Roll.
We're
I'm
trying
just
to
gonna
learn.
roll. I'm going to roll if it's a dark coat, I
The
think.
lesson is don't do stuff that you're not good at or you don't like.
I guess so. I mean, yeah, just generally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess so. I don't know.
Don't buy a paint sprayer
Just
when
for
you're
me, yeah.
not ready to use it.
That's true too. Yeah. I guess if I was expecting that it would make jobs like that faster, and I learned that it's not. So I'm
Yes.
not really sure it was worth getting.
Well, it depends
So
on your
quick.
strengths too.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah, I-
actually super proficient at paint spraying.
Right. I
and
might
prepping,
just be bad at it.
and you're probably better at rolling.
Okay.
Like I painted an entire apartment in one day with a sprayer. Like ceiling, baseboards, walls, everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I've gotten good at that. But like you could probably do close to that with like a roller rather than
I guess.
spraying.
I think I'm just bad at painting. I'm not terrible with a roller, but I guess I'm pretty bad with a paint sprayer.
Well, that's all right. Lesson learned.
Yes.
I think so. I don't know.
I'm mostly just frustrated.
Yeah.
I guess I'll try something different next time. What have you been up to?
I've been up to many things besides producing offspring.
Yeah.
I think my biggest or my highest grossing job, I think it was the highest net job too,
Okay.
where I got paid like $4,500,
Wow.
and I think I took home maybe $3,000.
Okay.
But I think that was my biggest job because I tend to not do big jobs. Like
Yeah,
me and you are kind of different in that.
Yeah, I was just
way.
thinking that because usually you do like jobs that
I'm doing
take
jobs
a day or
that
two.
I usually can see multiple clients in the same day.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one took me a long time. Essentially, I was like taking out a whole section of the wall and pushing it into so that it was like inserted in the wall. So there was like shelves inside the wall, sort of. It's kind of hard to describe, or at least I don't have the vocabulary for it. But anyway, it required a ton of drywall work and carpentry because I had to make the shelves custom.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of work. And it took me ages. But yeah, made a lot of money for it. I didn't calculate my wage per hour
Okay.
because I wasn't keeping track of my hours very well because I actually started the job, then we had the baby, and then I finished the job. So I was just very distracted.
Yeah.
But I would guess it lately, as I've said, my goal has been like $100 an hour, unless it's like friends and family. And that one I was shooting for that, but I definitely didn't make it. It was probably, but I think it was still north of probably 60, 70 an hour.
Yeah. Not bad.
Yeah, that was fun. I had a similar situation where I had to make like a tent essentially out of plastic so that I could contain all the dust from cutting a giant hole in this wall. It was insane. Like I started cutting and I couldn't see anything. And so I'd have to stop and the dust wouldn't go down. So I was just kind of
Just
going
drywall
blind.
Drywall dust.
Yeah, I got a circular saw and was just cutting. Because I had to cut 8
yeah.
foot by 6 foot hole out of this wall.
Right. I've done that with a circular saw a couple times. Yeah, it's so much dust.
So messy. Yeah, and it took like 2 hours for the dust to settle inside the little canopy I made. But yeah, if anyone's ever working with drywall, buy some plastic at Home Depot. It's pretty cheap, and put it around your area because the drywall dust gets absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
So you got to keep it contained. Yeah, other than that, I've done a lot of back to the normal stuff where I'm just working a few hours here and there for people. I was changing sprinklers for somebody, and then I was working at their house, and then that night, their neighbor called me. Was like, hey, can you work on my sprinklers? And I'm like, am I the sprinkler guy now? And then I was like, do I want to do this? And I said yes, but then I was like, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to be the sprinkler guy.
Yeah, the whole neighborhood's gonna hire you to do their sprinklers.
So that was interesting. That was kind of new for me. I haven't done a whole lot of sprinkler work. And then today I installed some security doors.
Oh, like the metal ones?
Yeah, you know how security doors, they have the like special screws that you can't unscrew?
Right.
So I had to take off of the old ones and put on new ones. So they're kind of a pain in the neck to get off. But it actually wasn't that bad because I just took an angle grinder and just kind of cut out a flathead piece for it. And
I've
then
done
I
that
just
exact
screwed
thing.
it out.
Yeah.
It worked great, actually.
Right.
So I said it was hard to be dramatic, but it actually wasn't hard at all. Installing it was a lot more work. So yeah, that's been my last couple months.
All right, nice.
So this episode, we're going to be talking about, well, it's going to be part 2, right? Because 100 years ago, we did part 1 of tools to boost efficiency.
Part 1 was 2 months ago, and this is part 2, yeah.
I don't think people care. I don't really care.
No,
I'm ready to learn from you,
right?
I'm ready to learn what's going to boost my efficiency.
I feel like it should be all right. I still have a huge list of random time-saving tools, so.
Excellent.
All right,
I have one, so I'll share that with you later.
Okay. You want me to just jump into it?
Yeah.
All right. I hope I don't repeat myself because this list isn't super organized.
I'll tell you if you do. I remember everything.
Okay. I'm going to start here then. I use like just a rigid like shop vac. It's kind of big and kind of bulky, kind of annoying to like get around. So I thought maybe getting one of those like little handheld vacuums would be nice.
Oh, the one you got from me, you don't like it?
No, it works great. But you know, like hauling around any kind of shop vac, it's just annoying to get through doorways and.
For sure.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like it'd be way more convenient if I could just have the little tiny vacuum on me. Because like a lot of things, I don't want to bring out a giant vacuum for like a little bit of drywall dust.
Yeah.
So I thought this would be like actually a good amount of time saving.
A little handheld one?
Yeah, you know, just like something you'd have for like a car or something.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because I vacuum stuff probably every day.
Right.
And I have to get the shop back out.
It's kind of a hassle.
And around.
It's like those things you got to plug in too.
Yeah.
It adds up once you're doing it over and over again. So I thought one of those would be helpful.
That's interesting. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm actively learning on the show.
All right. That's a good start then. The next thing, I hope I'm not repeating this one, but I know that you bought this. It was a vacuum sander for drywall.
Oh, you got one? No,
I thought you did.
Oh, yeah. I just bought one.
Yeah.
And I just used it for my big giant job.
Okay. I was just curious, like, how that thing works.
It was pretty great, actually.
Okay.
It really cut down on the dust. But it's not super efficient at sucking it up. Like, it keeps it from getting everywhere, but then when you're done, it just kind of drops onto the ground, all the dust.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of annoying, but I'll take it over, like, dust getting all over the house.
Yeah, at least it's not, flinging out everywhere.
So I still had to, like, vacuum up afterward.
Okay.
But that's way better than, like, having to tape, plastic tint everywhere.
Yeah.
To keep it from spreading. So that was super nice. And I got it on a sale, so it was like $100, which is pretty good for a giant tool.
Yeah.
And it was so fast.
Oh,
Like-
right. Yeah,
like-
definitely better than.
Like I said, I was
doing it
cutting
by
out
hand.
that thing. It was 8 foot by 6 foot, and so I'm doing the 8 foot by 6 foot of drywall, and then the drywall outside of that, and then the texturing. So it was like a lot of sanding I had to do, and I mean, it only took me like 30 minutes
Yeah.
to sand it out. Whereas before, I don't know what I would have done. It would have taken me forever to sand it, and it would have been dusty. Would have been
Yeah,
a
and it's not like
disaster.
you can really use like your orbital sander on a drywall because it's just gonna like grind it all up.
Yeah, especially on texture, it's
Yeah.
just gonna suck it, like ruin it.
Yeah. Okay. So you think it's worth getting?
Definitely. If you do drywall a lot, I feel like you have to do it. I don't know how I survived without it before.
Okay. All right, I got another
Wait,
one
real
here.
quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. I bought something that you had recommended the last show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it
What
was
was it?
like one of those handheld caulking things that
Oh,
you-
right.
you, like, put
yeah,
over
for
it.
like corners and stuff.
yeah, for corners. Don't like it. Yeah, it sucks.
Okay.
Luckily, I'm out like $4.
Wait, what'd
so
you
I'm
try
not
to-
too mad at you.
What'd you try to use it on?
Silicone.
It didn't work.
Well,
that's
it's
what
not that
that's
it
what I
didn't
tried
work.
it first time, and it was like
It just didn't save me time.
okay, huh?
Maybe I was using it wrong. I think I put way too much silicone because it was just bunching up, and then I'd have to
Yeah,
redo it.
I've run that problem with that tool as well. Is like if you put too much, it is almost worse.
So that could have been user error.
Yeah.
But I only used it once.
The
and
time
was
I
kind of
used
annoyed.
it is like I must have just got it like a perfect amount in there, and it just worked perfectly. Like no excess. It just worked great. So I guess you just kind of got to get it right on that first pass.
I'll try it again just for you.
Okay, try it
I'll
out.
give it another shot.
It-
with,
it
with caulk
definitely-
instead of silicone.
It definitely only works in some scenarios, but like in those scenarios, it works like way better than just trying to use your finger.
You don't
so.
know how excited I was for it and how disappointed I
Sorry
was
to
afterward.
disappoint you. I was hyping it up last show.
I was like, this is going to save me hours.
I actually did. I was doing some silicone a couple days ago, and I tried to use it. It wasn't working. So
He can't even use his own tools.
yeah. Okay. Another one I had was, oh yeah, I was kind of needed this yesterday. I was sanding some wood. It was like a wood door, and it was like had some, just like some molding on it.
Yeah.
And I needed to sand the molding, so it's like rounded and like oddly shaped. It's kind of hard to get sandpaper in there. But they sell like, I don't know how cheap it is, but they sell like a soft padded like electric sander that can like kind of mold its way into different corners and shapes.
What, really?
Yeah, I don't know how well it works. I just saw like one video of someone using it, and it looked like it worked really well. But like that is always a huge hassle when you're trying to like sand molding.
Oh, yeah. Because then you got to do it by hand.
Yeah, you have to do it by hand. You can't use a sand like an electric sander on that because it'll just tear it apart. So I thought that looked like it could work really well, but I don't. It also seems like it'd be hard for it to get even pressure on something. So I
Yeah.
feel like it still wouldn't work great, but it might. I don't know. I've never used one, and the video I watched, it seemed like it worked really well. So, and that would save
a lot of time.
I mean, an enormous amount of time if that actually worked.
yeah.
So I might look into that. Here's another tool, an electric hand planer.
Oh, yeah.
I've wanted to get one of those for a while, but
I
don't have
just
that
listened
many
to a
uses.
show about that.
Oh, really?
So there's this show called the Handyman Bros radio show
Okay.
that I listened to. And they were talking about how everyone who's doing this kind of work should have a hand planer. And I never even considered it before.
Yeah.
But they had got like an electric one. And then I literally listened to that show that day, and then the same day I was listening to it, I had a job where I needed to shave down a door so that
Yes.
it wouldn't stick.
I was trying to think of,
And I was like, I wish that I had a planer
yes.
because it took me forever to
It's
sand
perfect
it.
for doors. I was trying to think of other things because I feel like I don't need one that often.
Yeah.
But like when I come into a job that like is there's no other way to do it than a hand planer other than like slowly cutting it off, like pieces with like my skill saw or something.
Yeah.
It's just like so inefficient. I'm like, oh, if I just had this tool.
You don't have one?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have one either, right?
No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get one like soon though.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely seems like a really good tool. I've seen framers use it a lot. I just feel like I don't know if I'd use it that often, but when you need it, it definitely would be just the tool you need.
Well, yeah, I think the price is not that high.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I was actually
I haven't
looking
looked
at
at
it this
it.
week.
Okay.
I was like, I think I could get one for $100.
Oh, okay.
And so for that
That's not too
price,
bad.
like if that saves me 30 minutes every 4 months, that's still gonna be worth
Yeah.
it to me.
Yeah, it's like if a door's sticking at the top and you could just throw that thing on there in 5 seconds rather than having to take the door
Yeah.
off and like go at it with your skill saw. Like that takes so long.
Like I had to do this door. I had to sand the whole side of it for probably 30 minutes. And then there's dust everywhere. So then I got to go with a rag and wipe stuff down.
Right.
And then I have to vacuum it all up. So like, I mean, that took me like maybe an hour to do that door. And it could have taken me 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that is like there's a few tools, like some of these are things like, oh, I might get someday, but that's definitely on my list of like, I should probably get this soon.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. I don't know if I don't think I talked about this one, but a countersink. It's just like a drill bit.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
So, you know, when you like want a screw to be like flush with the top of a surface,
Yeah.
it's so that you like cut out a wider space for the top of the head of the screw. Like
Oh,
just
cool.
that like cylinder area
Yeah.
or cone area. It's just like it cuts that spot out. So it just leaves space for the head of the screw.
That would be nice.
What I usually do is if I need that, I just use my Phillips head and I just like grind it and then move it around in a circle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That works?
It works, but it's like, it's not a very clean cut. And
Oh, I haven't tried that.
it's not great, but that does work. That's what I usually use when I'm like, I should probably just get one of these.
The poor man's whatever you call
Yeah.
it.
The poor man's countersink is just a Phillips head. Yeah.
I think I'm going to try that one first.
Yeah, I guess try that one first. You'll see why you should probably buy one of these
Yeah.
instead.
This is something you do have or don't have?
No, this is like
Something you want.
on one of my top list of stuff I need to get. Yeah. Oh, I thought about this one as well. It's like a spring-loaded nail setter. You know when like you have a brad nail or something that is just like sticking out too far and you got to nail it in?
Yep.
I have like 3 different sized like nail head setters.
Yeah.
And they work great, but like I have to go fish them out of my bag every time and they're kind of hard to find because they're small. This thing, like you could just keep in a pocket and it's just one of those, but it's just got like a spring on it and you just pull the spring back and let it go and it just like hammers it. So it's just like all together. So you don't need to go grab a nail set and a hammer.
That's kind of cool.
You just got this little thing with a spring and you just pull it and it hammers it itself.
That sounds fun too.
Yeah, they are kind of cool. I've used one a couple times. So I think I might get one of those because they're it just saves time rather than have to like go out and get a hammer and one of those things. You could just have it in a pocket.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ooh. Oh, how about this? How about a like a remote controlled outlet thing for your miter saw and your vacuum? Because like I'll set up my vacuum and my miter saw, like, you know, and make a little cutting area.
Yeah.
And what I have to do when I start making cuts is I turn the vacuum on and then I run my saw.
Yep. Same.
But they like sell things that you can just set up like a remote onto the outlet that you have your vacuum on. So and you can like put the remote like on your miter saw. So you just press this remote and it turns your vacuum on like as you turn on your miter saw.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of handy.
Yeah, just it's another time-saving thing, and I assume they're pretty cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I haven't
Yeah.
even considered that because, well, I also don't do as much carpentry as you, so it's not as much of a concern. But yeah, it's little stuff like that that really adds up time. Where you're making 1,000 cuts every time you make a cut, you got to flip on the vacuum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like, oh, really? Like, who really needs that? Because it doesn't take that long to just flip the vacuum on.
Yeah.
But it definitely would save time because I've definitely run into scenarios where I'm making so many cuts all at once, and I'm like going back and forth and turning the vacuum on and off. It would save a good amount of time just to have that.
Yeah, I agree. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
The one I had was the planer, but we already went over it.
Oh, hand planer?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I also had this. I kind of ran into this scenario recently. And we used to have one of these when we did the house flipping. But it's just a little magnet on a stick that you can just pick up like screws and stuff that are on the ground.
You kidding me?
It sounds stupid, but like I was working at my brother's house, and they had some people doing some work while I was there. Actually, they were like redoing their pantry. It was just something I didn't have time to do.
Bastards.
Yeah, they took my job. No, but they were doing it, and they like made a mess of. They left all these brad nails in their driveway, and
oh
like,
my gosh, that's so annoying.
yeah, and it's like you needed one of those little magnet things because, like, you couldn't see them all,
Yeah.
and they were all over the driveway. They didn't pick them up, so I picked up a few of them. I was just sweeping out there, and I saw them all over the place. But like for scenarios like that where I don't make that kind of mess, but if you ever do, like by accident, you do kind of need one of those just so you don't leave stuff like that on a driveway or something. I don't think I would ever start ripping out screws over a driveway, but or
Yeah,
ripping
what
out
is wrong
nails and
with them?
stuff. It wasn't
They
the
got
most
other issues.
competent thing I'd seen, but if that happens to you,
You would want that.
they cost like $5, and that would definitely be necessary.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Especially, I don't know if you're like me, but when I'm working on something, I'm just like, don't worry about how much of a mess I'm making. Just do it. And
Yeah.
then you clean up afterwards.
I make a mess
and
until I'm
that
done.
helps me to be efficient. Otherwise, then I'm worrying about am I making too much of a mess? And I'm like, just make a mess.
Yeah.
And then you just clean it up.
Right.
And
But
so
then,
like,
maybe at the end you just kind of forgot about.
it often takes me a while to clean up.
Yeah.
After a job because I want to leave people's house better than I left it.
Yeah.
So-
How long do you usually like schedule for the end of your day to clean up? I
never schedule.
I usually like set an alarm 30 minutes before I'm going to leave, just so like, okay, I got to clean up because I don't want to like have to rush cleaning up because there's usually more cleanup than I'm expecting.
Yeah, the amount of times that I've like chugged caffeine and then just started panicking like insane, like cocaine addict levels of running around, packing my stuff in the car and throwing it and slamming the door and breaking a window. I broke one of my windows in my car one time, but just throwing stuff in it.
Really?
So yeah, schedule your time for cleanup.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you did that. I try to do that sometimes. Yeah. Anyway,
Oh, here's
little
something
magnet
I
thing's
thought
dumb,
was,
but
this is something I thought was relevant to this topic. It's not a tool, but something happened to me a couple weeks ago. Actually, this was a little while ago, but I lost a tiny little part. Wait, no. What am I saying? No, I lost the filter for my paint sprayer.
oh yeah.
Like, that's just stuff that happens. Like, I was cleaning out my paint sprayer, and it just got lost in the yard. I don't know what happened to it. Like, that kind of stuff happens. But what happened later is I bought a replacement, and then I just threw it in my car, and then, like, a month later, I needed that, and I had no idea where it was, so I had to buy a new one. And I was like, what? This is the cost of being disorganized.
Oh,
You have
yeah.
to buy more things that you already bought because you
Right.
can't find it. So I was like, I need to be a little more organized with my stuff because
Yeah.
I'm buying multiples because I'm incompetent at organizing my car.
How would you do that, you think? I mean, I think we talked about it last week a little bit. We were talking about like tool boxes that like are on wheels or something.
Yeah.
Or just getting different kind of tool bags or even tool belts. Like, how would you kind of go
I
about?
think you just need to be diligent on keeping it organized. What happens is I have a good organizational system, but then I'll be like, it's 5 o'clock. I want to get home. I just throw everything in the passenger seat.
Right.
And then I never get around to organizing.
See,
it.
this is why
And
you
then
got to
stuff gets
schedule your cleanup time.
Yeah, there was one time where it had been like 6 months since I cleaned out the passenger seat of my car, and it was just filling with crap. And then I cleaned it all out, and I'm like, I didn't even realize I bought all this stuff. Like, I had bought all these materials that I needed.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't even know I had these on hand.
just piled under all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I'm like my worst enemy.
That's pretty good.
Anything else, Grant?
Yeah.
We're at 35 minutes. So we
Okay.
can probably wrap up soon.
Okay, I got...
Give me the last one that is the most important one left on the list.
Most important one?
Yeah, one you find to be the most valuable.
This is really valuable, actually.
Okay.
And it's kind of a weird thing when you wouldn't think about it. I never thought about it. It was actually a gift from you like a few years ago.
Oh, shoot.
But it's a
Props to me.
endoscope.
Oh, yeah.
A little camera.
You use it?
I use it. Okay, I don't use it that often, but it
When
is
you
so
do.
handy when I need it. Like sometimes I'll be doing some electrical work or something, and I need to see what's inside of a wall so I can like fish a wire through the wall.
Yeah.
And like that thing is perfect for that because I can like put it in the wall and figure out what I'm running into.
That is pretty nice to have.
Yeah. Or sometimes I haven't used it for this that often, but if there's like a plug in a drain, you can like run it through the drain. It doesn't go that far, but it's like maybe 3 feet.
Huh.
It's good for that.
Especially looking behind a wall.
Yeah, it's especially helpful for that. Yeah. I've used it a lot for electrical work like that when I'm trying to fish wires through
'Cause
walls.
most of the time when you're needing to see behind a wall, you're not wanting to cut it open.
Yes.
So you just want a little
exactly.
hole.
And sometimes, like there's studs going, vertically, but occasionally there'll be like a stud going horizontally, like in between the studs.
Right.
And you don't know that's there without like having to cut the wall down. So I like pull this thing out and like, oh, there's a stud there. That's what I'm running into.
Yeah.
And you couldn't see it just by trying to get your wire down. Like it's hitting something. I can't see
you
it.
could have spent hours trying to figure out
Exactly
what's going wrong.
So you can see it without having to rip the drywall open. So that's a great tool. I'm happy to have it.
Yeah, I thought about getting one because of stuff like that. Where it's like,
and it's just in one of my tubs of stuff that I don't use that often, but I always have it in my truck because I might need it
when
at
you
some
need
point.
it, it's super helpful.
It's great.
Wow, that's a good one. I feel honored by that.
Yeah, thank you for that one. That one's great. I don't know what else if you had a final question ready, but I did have
I did not think
a couple of other questions of I recently started doing this was making my own shims.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
And it works really well and it's super easy. Like I made this jig in like maybe 10 minutes and now I have, shims forever. I don't have to buy anymore. Not that they're expensive, but the ones that they sell at like Home Depot and Lowe's, they're not
Pretty
always
garbage.
Yeah, you have to like look through different like bags of them to figure out or to find some that have like a really thin like point at the end. Because sometimes you need just a really thin shim.
Yeah.
And you can't really find those from the store-bought ones very often. So the ones that you make, you can get all of them that way. And it takes 5 seconds to make them and 10 minutes to make the little jig. And you just cut them with your table saw.
Oh, why don't I just buy them from you?
I could do that. Yeah, I could start selling them.
Then I don't have to make my own jig.
Yeah. But yeah, I just make them out of scrap wood and it's super easy.
That's pretty cool. You just use like a 2x4?
Whatever kind of wood. I have just some like pine, 3/4 inch pine stuff that's what I've been using recently just because I had a bunch of scrap of that. Yeah, I think that's like I'd never really thought about doing it, and I don't know, I just hadn't thought about it, and it's super easy to do and really helpful, and now I don't have to buy shims anymore.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Excellent tip.
Oh, and the other thing was, this is important to me because it's a constant struggle for me as a handyman and doing like painting stuff, is how do you like seal a like caulking tube or a silicone tube?
Oh, yep.
Because they'll dry out.
Nobody knows.
I'm not sure it's possible to like have them last for more than like 2 or 3 months without them completely drying out. But like they dry out so often, and I waste so much of this stuff just because I can't get them
If
to
anyone
seal.
knows, tell us.
Okay, you don't have any ideas?
I never lose caulk though. It's just silicone.
Silicone's the worst, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't use it as often, so it just sits in a bucket for a while, and then when I
Yeah.
need it, it's all dried out. I used to buy, or I bought one time these little like caps that you could put on them, and they didn't work at all. And that was like, it looked like the best option in terms of buying some product to
Yeah.
fix it, and it didn't work. So now I usually just squeeze out a little bit of extra, and like I just make a little clump at the top.
That's what I've been doing.
Is that what you do? Okay.
And it hasn't been working. Except
Yeah.
for the caulk works fine, but
Yeah,
silicone
it
never
works okay, but it's not. The silicone always dries out. Although I have been buying the smaller tubes of silicone rather than the caulk tubes,
Oh yeah, you told me that works.
and those
better.
work a little. They last a little longer because they
Yeah.
have a little cap built into it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start doing that. I think.
I still ran into the problem because I used that silicone recently, and it was like halfway dried out. I was still able to use it, but it was like so hard to get out of the tube because it was like halfway dry.
Oh,
It worked, but it was a hassle. So, if anyone knows,
yeah. Please
let
help
us know.
We're
That's a
desperate.
constant struggle. I was hoping you'd have some good idea, but
Nope, I'm just what you do.
yeah,
I
okay.
think I learned that from you.
Yeah.
I never change.
It still doesn't work. All right, that's all I had.
Do you have a final question?
Oh, no, I was hoping you would figure out one.
What? Oh my goodness. All right. Let's say how many. Who's your least favorite person in the world? Who's your least favorite client you've had? I feel like we've asked that.
Yeah, I
before,
think you've
but
asked this one. How about how much caffeine do you drink on average on the job?
Oh yeah.
Like maybe during a week, or maybe over. Like,
That's really on topic too.
Yeah,
Because it boosts efficiency big
Yeah.
time. Well, it does for a little bit, and then I'm like dead.
sometimes I really crash. Yeah.
Yeah, not every time, but sometimes I'm like, maybe this actually isn't helping. But yeah, like that big job I was talking about where I did that big drywall and the whatever. I think every day I stopped at QT to get coffee on the way there, like a
Coffee?
big coffee.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Yeah, like just full of coffee. Like not like their coffee cups. Like I got one of their giant,
Like
like,
a
big
32
gulps.
ouncer?
I got like a big gulp size of coffee
Nice.
for each one of those days, and I was wired for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And then in retrospect, after a couple hours, I felt kind of sick. So
From
maybe
coffee, I usually don't get sick from coffee, but anytime
that was a lot.
anytime I buy like an energy drink, like an hour after I have one of those, I start feeling nauseous.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't like those. Red Bulls not so much. I don't have a problem with Red Bulls, but like all the other brands I've tried, I end up feeling kind of sick.
Yeah, I think you gotta tone it down on the coffee. That's what I've learned. But it does help. Like when I have the right amount, it actually helps me work because sometimes you start out the day and you're not very motivated.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, I don't know.
Sometimes I just need a little boost. And
Yeah, then I get some
definitely
coffee.
for like
I'm
the
like, all
morning
right,
hours. Yeah,
I'm ready to go.
Those
And then
morning hours, I need it sometimes.
Yeah, or even sometimes I'll save it for like 2 p.m. when I'm like tempted to just leave for the day.
Yeah,
I'm like, let's not leave. Let's keep working.
crank it out a little bit more.
Yep, that's my strategy.
Nice. What energy drink do you usually get if you ever get those?
I don't.
Oh, just coffee.
Yeah, just coffee with half and half.
Okay,
Sometimes a little bit of sugar in there.
nice. You never drink it black?
No, I still don't know how it's done. I don't like it black. I feel like I actually think I've become a coffee snob, but I don't ever drink black coffee, which I thought is impossible. Like I'm pretty
Probably not.
Like I really like certain coffees, and I judge other coffees pretty harshly. Like Coffee Rush is a place around here, the worst coffee in the whole world.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Do you like Starbucks? I love Starbucks.
the Starbucks is
coffee.
actually pretty good.
They're like cold brew is fantastic.
Black Rock is by far the best Americano.
Oh yeah, that one's good.
But anyway, yeah, I can't drink it black, but I don't know if I ever will.
That's what I have. If I have coffee, I just have it black in a thermos.
I don't know how you do it.
I don't think I'm not a coffee snob. I just want the caffeine, so I don't really care what it tastes like. And I've gotten used to the taste, so I don't really care that much. But there definitely is better coffees out there.
Yeah, I still drink some of it for enjoyment. So
Yeah.
I don't want to just drink tar.
That's fair. All right, that's all I got.
Well, I guess we will come back next week. What's our topic next week? Or 2 weeks from now?
Oh, I don't know.
Our schedule, okay, everybody, we're going on a every other week schedule, unless I have another kid.
Okay.
Or if Grant goes to Europe again. But other than that, every other Monday
All right.
is the plan.
Let's do it.
But yeah, I got some good stuff brewing. Some people I want to
awesome.
interview. We got another show that we're hopefully going to get on soon.
Really? Okay, you mentioned that. I wasn't sure if it was happening or not.
Yeah, I got to connect with him again because I was talking about it before the baby came, and then I just kind of ghosted him. So I need to check in on that. But I
Okay.
think it'll work out. But yeah, big stuff happening on
Oh,
the podcast.
I'm excited.
All right.
I'm sure everyone's excited.
Everybody, will see you in a week and then 2 weeks.
2 weeks. All right. Bye.
And you got me there.